Good morning. This is a meeting of the Special Assessment Commission for the public hearing for affected property owners for projects that are on this run for special assessments, which will end up going to the City Council for vote in a few weeks. And my name is Steve Bladholm, and I am the chairman this year. We do this on a rotating basis. The other assessment commissioner who is here is Joe Burgum. Dan Dunn, who is the third member, is out of town on business and was unable to attend. We have city staff here to assist us if there are any questions that are beyond our scope of being able to answer your question. And with that, we will ask the two of you to please come over and state your name and address and tell us what your concerns are for the project that you are here to talk about.
Hi, my name is Michelle Maxwell, and my address is 3599 50th Street South. And the assessment we've gotten is for further paving of our street, which has been done a couple of times. The road is in perfect condition, but we still keep getting special assessments to repave it. And I'll let you talk because you know more about it.
My name is Daryl Salzler, same address, 3599. I've worked construction for 18 years in Fargo. I was digging foundations over in that Dead Presidents area. I was one of the first foundations out there I dug, same with Osgood. I've seen a lot of road construction. We live in a cul-de-sac, very limited traffic. And there was not a pothole, a crack, or anything in that asphalt. And I've walked it, I know it. They milled it and relayed it. This street's only 6 years old or 7 years old. It's very limited traffic, so I don't understand how we can justify repaving a perfectly good road, milling it. They replaced curb line that had hairline cracks in it you could barely see on the high points of the flow line, so it didn't even hold water. It was going to cause no damage at all, ever. It was on the high point, so very limited water would hit it. I mean, I just think they just wasted a lot of time and money on that street, and we're getting billed for it. It makes no sense to me. I mean, like I said, 6 years, cul-de-sac, that's not a through street, very limited wear and tear, makes no sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I can speak to that. So I'm Tom Nachmus, the Assistant City Engineer for the City of Fargo. So it is our practice. New development projects, what we'll do, we'll construct the roadway section, we'll construct the underground, the roadway section. We bring the asphalt all the way up to the curb to maintain drainage during that time. We let residential properties come in, be constructed, and then we come back and we do an edge mill and then the final wear course. So it is a planned project. The reason why we do that, we allow adequate time for settlement to occur, and then make those minor repairs that are out there, and then we have a final surface. So we don't have the full structural section of that roadway until we do that final wear course.
Why come it wasn't sealed? I mean, there was nothing wrong with it. I mean, many of the new developments around town, they always leave that 1.5 inches down from the top of that curb or flow line. And then when the construction's done in that development, then they come through and repave it.
That used to be the practice, that we would leave that the wear course down at the edge, but we had a lot of drainage issues, especially along the low points. So it's been our practice for quite some time now to go all the way to the curb line with the non-wear course, let the development occur, come back, do an edge mill, and then put the final wear course on, giving us our final paving section.
Just seems like you're double doing it for nothing. I mean, I'd understand if it's a high volume road, but it's not. I mean, what is there, 12 houses there? 10? I mean, just a waste of money. Wait till the road breaks down and then do it. Like, drive down 36th Avenue, right? You know, we're on the set of 36th and 50th. I have to strap stuff down the back of my pickup because stuff is bouncing going 25 miles an hour. That's the road that should have been fixed, not ours.
And the issue why we haven't done that avenue yet is just because there hasn't been full development to the area to the south. So we don't know where those approaches are going to be.
You can't pull a boat trailer down it, the boat's bouncing off a trailer.
So I would assume then we would get another special assessment for 36th Avenue.
That will be a collector, will have a band to it. And so that's not coming this year. I could see that coming in the next couple of years, but there would be a special assessment associated with that.
So what are our taxes used for?
So property taxes go to the general fund, pay for a lot of things in the city of Fargo, fire, police, city hall employees that do more administrative type things. But City of Fargo through Greenfield Development is 100% special assessed. So all the local utilities, the street paving, the Ware Course project that you're seeing this for. And then in 2 years after the Ware Course project, we do come back and do a seal coat. That initial seal coat is 100% special assessed. After that time, we run on a typical program of every 8 years to come back and do a seal coat. Those future seal coats after the initial one, the future ones are 100% city funded. And then we follow our typical maintenance program too for mill and overlays. Current policy on those are 50% special assessed, 50% city funded. Like you said, we continue to monitor the roadway conditions. But a mill and overlay likely won't be for 25 to 35 years would be my guess on a roadway like that.
I know this isn't the forum to discuss the whole issue of specials overall, but I've lived all over the country. I've owned multiple properties. I have never lived in a place that does specials. And I can't imagine you guys haven't heard multiple people tell you that they could afford their house when they bought it, but all these specials keep coming and coming and coming, and then the tax values of the house go up even though the appraised value doesn't, and they're priced out of their homes. I mean, it's ridiculous.
So I would just say that is a comment that we've heard. City Commission did change the infrastructure funding policy, which kind of dictates how things are special assessed. That reverted back to an older policy last year, I think is when that was done. That did change the special assessments. And then there is a special assessment task force, which has been ongoing for quite some time now, looking into a lot of those issues. So excuse me. So that was one of the things that certainly came out of that is how can we be more transparent in which special assessments are yet to come, right? So in your situation, we know by policy that we're going to come back and put on a Ware Course, and it's 100% city funded, 100% special assessed. We know that there's going to be a seal coat, which is going to be 100% special assessed. We have those things in policy. Those things are on our website. We're looking for ways that we can be more transparent to a new homeowner to know that those things are potentially coming and try to give a timeline for it as well. So we certainly do understand your concern, and we are looking at ways that we can address that in the future. I understand that didn't help you in this one, but we are looking for ways to.
When I bought my property, I think the specials were about $14,000, and lo and behold, I get a bill for $36,000 a year later, and was never, I was told that some specials could be added, like small ones like this, and I have gotten nickeled and dimed with multiple smaller amounts, but I was never told that another $36,000 was going to be added to my property, and it does nothing for the value of it because it doesn't count into the appraisal at all. My house is appraising for less than I paid for it, and that's not even including the specials or any of the $40,000 I've put into it since. Like I said, I know this isn't the forum for it, but it's just so frustrating.
Well, can't the city use like a judgment call? Like I said, we're in a cul-de-sac. Obviously, that did not need to be repaved. I mean, put it off for a few years or whatever. I mean, there just seems like such a waste to rip up a perfectly good road and then repave it. Yeah, it's the final Ware Course. I mean, use this language like that, but I mean, it's got to have some common sense to it. I mean, I can't even think of something to compare it to, but it's like mowing your lawn one day, then coming back the next day to mow it a different direction. You really don't need to do it, do you? but it looks nice, or what? I mean, there's no common sense to it.
I think my concern too is that if it's $1,700 for just this one street, what are the assessments gonna be to do all of 36th? And then anything you do around it, because I know you have like a mile radius around the main roads like that everybody gets charged for. I think that one's gonna be a huge assessment, and that's still coming down the road.
36th Avenue will be spread over a wider area. So you won't.
Correct, I realize that, but
And the size of 36 compared to even your cul-de-sac will be comparable. I would expect at today's costs, you wouldn't see maybe $500 to $600, $750 tops.
And those are things we can look into as well, right? So our special assessment department can certainly look into that, put together an estimate of what we would anticipate that future assessment to be associated with 36th Avenue, likewise with the Seal Coat project. And then we're happy to have those conversations all the time of what other potential projects are out there. So especially new developments, the arterials, if those haven't been constructed, I don't think that's an issue where you're at, but we're happy to have those conversations with you as well of what potentially could still be coming out there. Again, we have heard your comments before, and it is something that we continually try to figure out how do we handle it. Your comment of continuing to be nickel and dimed with some of these special assessments that come up, that's a big part of what we're talking about at the task force right now of how do we limit those things in the future.
sure, okay. Well, thank you for listening to us.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Yes, the next task force meeting, I believe, is on May 2nd. And hopefully it will continue to move toward some type of resolution, but as
Would
they've-
you suggest that we go to the meeting on June 3rd for
To
the
the city,
city commission meeting for the same?
well, that would be, I mean, we can make recommendations or have them, look at a particular case, but the city commission is ultimately the authority that would end up making a decision regarding your particular situation or your neighbors. This is more about adherence to policy that is currently in place, based upon what I guess you could call the rules of the game at this point in time. And we certainly understand, we hear this every time we convene this, is that there are people who are concerned about the cost of all of this. And so that would be the next thing to do, yes, that's
I
correct.
do understand the cost. I mean, I understand roads do need improving, and I'm all for that, but there just gotta be some common sense to it too, you don't need to do it to spend the money, I don't know, I just think it should be looked kind of on a street per street basis versus just this whole section. I mean, a through street's gonna have a lot more traffic than a cul-de-sac,
Sure.
More truck traffic, more everything versus what we have. So I'd like to see a little more, instead of just doing this whole area, let's look at this street. Well, there's nothing wrong with that street, so let's leave it for a little while, I don't know, I just like to see more useful use of the money.
This would be following current policy regarding, when you end up going in and
Right,
putting
yeah,
down that,
Yeah, I know, I understand what he said, he's just probably for simplicity, just do it all what's designed at that time, but.
yeah, and when they bid these projects, then they end up incorporating numerous neighborhoods throughout the city in order to get a better competitive bid from the paving contractors. Otherwise, it would be even more expensive if they just went in and did one small, section, so. But that's just the policy
Yes.
that they, but we understand your concern, so.
Thank you for giving us a chance to vent.
Thank you very much for coming.
Where we'll go from here, we will file it as a protest to this improvement district, and you will receive notification from our auditor's office of the hearing that you'll be listed as a protester. If you wanted to come, they'll give the notification of the time and the place to go before the city commission.
Okay,
All right, well, thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for taking time out of your day to come here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we don't have any other folks here who wish to discuss any of the projects that affect their property. So we gonna adjourn, or do we keep it open for a bit longer, or what?
I think you could call for adjournment.
All right. Well, in that case, I move that we adjourn. Second?
Yeah, I think you just get to call it.
All right. Thank you.